Advancing Student Achievement Through System Instructional Frameworks, presented by Beverly Barca and Karen LeMay of Northland School Division. Northland School Division is a unique division that is committed to inspiring students to be the best they can be by providing outstanding holistic educational opportunities with amazing staff and strong partnerships with families and communities. We are in 18 schools, including an online school, with almost 500 staff and over 1,600 students, covering over 288,000 kilometers of northern Alberta. Over 90% of our students are Indigenous, either First Nation or Métis, and we work diligently with each community to weave traditional ways of knowing and being into our schools and to respond to the calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Over the past several years, extensive community engagement, discussions with educators, and consultations among division leaders have highlighted a significant demand for more structured guidance in teaching literacy and numeracy within our classrooms. Although various initiatives have been implemented in the past, challenges such as low student achievement, frequent changes in senior administration, and evolving insights into the science of learning have left educators uncertain about the appropriate direction to pursue. The introduction of the 2024 to 2027 education plan, particularly prior to holistic learning, has prompted the development of frameworks for literacy and numeracy.
Reflecting who we are is about leadership in acquiring and applying foundational knowledge about our First Nations and Métis students. It is carried in the voices of our elders, knowledge keepers, parents, guardians, students, and our teachers. Voices gathered through stories, reflection, relationship, and shared experiences. Within these voices, a clear message for the future of learning in Northland School Division was spoken. We want to see school experiences that grow the connection between our schools and the lands upon which we learn. In short, we want schools reflecting who we are and where we come from. This message aligns with the Truth and Reconciliation's calls to action. The development of the Literacy and Mathematics Framework was one response to this shared call. It affirms the understanding that learning is strongest when it is connected to identity, language, relationship, the land, and the lived experience. The development of our Literacy and Mathematics Framework was not just a journey of instructional process, but rather an unfolding story of leadership. The leadership quality standards provided a foundation for the content, thus shaping a coherent, responsive, and sustainable approach to teaching and learning. Through visionary leadership, the frameworks began with a shared belief that literacy and mathematics can be spaces of inquiry, wonder, connection, and growth. Instructional leadership guided our leaders to create conditions for educators to deepen their classroom pedagogy, attend to student thinking, and strengthen classroom practice. Through developing leadership capacity, our work became distributed across our teachers, school leaders, learning leads, and system partners, ensuring that expertise in literacy and mathematics grew from within our system. Through leading learning, the framework remained focused on improving learning conditions and advancing achievement for all of our students. Together, the leadership dimensions transformed literacy and mathematical frameworks from just documents into living, shared practices that guide consistent, research-informed pedagogy across all of our schools. The story of reimagining mathematics began with a collective pause, a moment when a Math Minds team member and a superintendent engaged in a conversation shaped by hope, curiosity, and urgency to transform the math experience for students. In that exchange, there was a recognition that the existing narrative could be disruptive, not only for students, but for educators. From this conversation, a vision for teaching and learning mathematics began to emerge. At the same time, the tension remained between the legacy of traditional math instruction and the emerging vision for the future of learning in our classrooms. The story began to unfold around a central question: what does it look like when Indigenous and Western perspectives are both experienced, honored, and connected in mathematics teaching and learning? The development of our framework brings together living math and traditional math through four elements. The first element is thriving students. Before a student solves a problem, measures a distance, notices a pattern, or explains their thinking, they arrive with a world of knowledge already within them. Historically, mathematics research and teaching have often omitted Indigenous knowledge, narrowing what counts as mathematical understanding. Mathematics has too often been taught as though it lives only in the mind, separate from emotion, experience, and identity. Thriving Students celebrates that math learning belongs and begins long before a lesson is taught. This section of the framework supports holistic learning and evidence of learning. It connects to the leadership dimensions of instructional leadership and leading a learning community by strengthening assessment and evaluation practices that honor the whole learner. The intent of Living Students is to move beyond awareness of the traditional and contemporary context of our First Nations and Métis students and towards a deeper appreciation of how this understanding comes to life in teaching and learning through multiple ways of knowing. Thriving Teachers invites educators to teach mathematics differently, with a focus on pedagogy that makes learning more intentional, connected, and meaningful. Through variation theory and attention to the structure of mathematics, teachers design learning that helps students notice relationships, see patterns, and build deeper conceptual understanding. This section connects correctly to the leadership standards by providing instructional leadership that's focused on pedagogy, task design, assessment, and student thinking. Leading learning is present as teachers use evidence of student understanding to adapt instruction. Developing leadership capacity emerges as teachers collaborate, reflect, and grow in their confidence. And visionary leadership holds a larger purpose, creating mathematics classrooms where all students see themselves as capable thinkers. Thriving classrooms shift the focus from delivering instruction to noticing impact. Through this lens, the classroom becomes a living place of reflection and response, where teachers evaluate both the intended outcomes of teaching and the effectiveness of their own instructional decisions. This requires educators to be fully present with learners by listening closely, noticing the whole student, seeing the lived experience in the classroom, and creating conditions where students feel seen, safe, and capable. This section connects directly to the learning quality standards by emphasizing instructional leadership, leading learning, and leading a learning community. It also develops leadership capacity by positioning teachers as reflective practitioners who can name their impact, adjust their practice, and contribute to collective learning. Ultimately, it reflects visionary leadership by supporting a future where students experience math as meaningful, connected, and alive. Thriving leadership is an ongoing narrative of possibilities and nurturing the conditions for curiosity. It is also about how Northland's mathematics work grew through the partnership with the University of Calgary's Math Minds team. An invitation to participate in the mathematics teaching and learning program at the University of Calgary created the foundations for a mathematics cohort within Northland. This cohort strengthened educators' understanding of mathematics pedagogy while developing the leadership capacity needed to lead math learning from within the division. It marked a shift from externally supported leadership to internally developed expertise. Thriving leadership celebrates the power of relationships, shared responsibility, and collective commitment to grow mathematics leadership from within.
A need was identified for greater guidance in literacy instruction as teachers sought clearer direction. The approach to advancing literacy differed from that of numeracy. while the numeracy framework was developed with external support from the University of Calgary. The literacy framework was crafted internally, leveraging the expertise of our own teachers. Rather than imposing a top-down plan, we engaged in consultations with teachers across the division to ascertain which current strategies were effective and which were not. We explored their experiences in teaching literacy across subject areas. Our findings revealed a strong desire among teachers for more guidance and support. We conducted meetings with educators from all 18 schools, ensuring their insights contributed to the development of the literacy framework. Our aim was to foster a sense of investment and ownership in this process. By collaborating with educators, we addressed challenges and established shared goals to create a unified vision for student engagement and success in literacy learning. This process of collaboration and shared systems to support student success, based in research, aligns with Competency 3 visionary leadership of both the LQS and SLQS. To develop our literacy framework, we convened teachers from across the division, providing them with an opportunity to collaborate and consolidate ideas generated during the engagement sessions. This collaboration aimed to outline what literacy instruction would entail in NSD. It also served to meet Competency 7 of the Leadership Quality Standard, empowering teachers to become instructional leaders within their schools and across the district. Throughout the 2024-25 school year, we held multiple virtual meetings. Despite the challenges posed by our geography, we successfully gathered for 2 days to draft the initial version of our framework. Our work included consulting the literacy frameworks of various divisions across the province, as well as research conducted at the University of Alberta regarding the teaching and assessment of Indigenous students. Additionally, we incorporated evidence-based practices related to teaching reading and writing. We identified essential components for effective literacy instruction applicable across all subject areas and developed a comprehensive plan to address each aspect. This plan has been compiled into a single document, which has been shared to division staff through various channels, including professional learning opportunities offered throughout the school year. While our framework is still in draft, it will continue to be a working document as we learn and grow. We will continue to consult with the teachers who are putting these strategies into practice. Some of our next steps include creating a continuum of support to help teachers navigate instruction and intervention. This work is being guided by the collaborative response model. We are also constructing a website that will house the various strategies, templates, and plans to support the framework, effective literacy instruction, and assessment. We have also completed our first year of using a Cadence reading assessment for grades K to 8, and we aim to utilize the data to better inform instruction for all of our students. Moving forward, our goal is to provide consistent, effective instruction to our students based on current understandings of the science of learning and what our teachers are experiencing in their classrooms.
As we conclude, the late Honorable Murray Sinclair reminded us that education got us into this mess and education will get us out of it. For system leaders, this is both a challenge and a responsibility. The development of literacy and numeracy frameworks shows how leadership standards can move beyond policy language and become living guides for system transformation. In Northland School Division, the Learning Quality Standards and the System Learning Quality Standards did not sit outside the work. They quietly informed the journey as it unfolded. They shaped the collective pause that opened space for a new vision and leadership that brought the work into classrooms. For superintendents and system leaders, the invitation is to see leadership standards not as a compliance measure, but as pathways for building coherence, capacity, and hope. In this way, the future of learning is shaped through choices we make together: to listen deeply, lead courageously, build from within, and create schools that reflect who we are, where we come from, and what we believe is possible for every learner.